Adam, you were part of that team last year, obviously with the Mets, that lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS. How does this year's Mets team compare to your team last year?
I think it's a better team. I think it's more talented. I think it's deeper. Definitely a better roster all around, especially on the pitching side. The pitching so far has been leading the whole world in ERA and every other stat you would want, and they still haven't seen Montas or Minaya. I really like where the Mets are at.
So, to me, offensively, it should be leaps and bounds better because you added Juan Soto, right? We're talking about one of the 10 best hitters in all of baseball. But I also think you have to look at some other intangibles with this Met team to see if officially they've closed the gap with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that's where I got to go back in time to last year. You go back last year, Mark Vientos was a huge part of this thing. I want to see him get back to where he was. I want to see this lineup get lengthened out. See, that's the thing the Los Angeles Dodgers have going. I know their lineup 1 through 9 is a well-oiled machine. I have some questions about the bottom half of that Met lineup. And to Adam's point, the Met pitching so far has been outstanding. You look at the rotation, they're finding answers left and right. Shomanai hasn't thrown a pitch this year, and their ERAs are just spectacular. And in that bullpen, David Stearns has a knack for just finding and developing these guys. So they've had great success there. Look, Dodgers are the team to beat. You get them at a good time, though. Dodgers literally are rolling in a cavalcade of starters that you may not necessarily see come playoff time. You're not seeing Snell. You're not seeing Yamamoto. I want to see, Sal, if the Met lineup here can go and make a statement against the Dodger pitching staff that's been compromised.
Yeah, JJ, you know, the Mets are, they have about the same that they were at the end of last year in OPS, but they're scoring almost a half a run a game fewer than they did last year, which is weird because you're right, Soto's on the team and you feel like they're deeper, but you know Vientos hasn't really gotten going yet. But one of the big things that stands out to me about the difference between the Mets last year at that time in October and this year's version is that team had an identity, Sal. They were the OMG Mets. They were the feel-good story. They were a surprise that had seized their moment and were a real problem in October. And this year's team, I think, and look, that maybe it's just 50 games so far. Every team's got to discover their identity, and I think that's where this Mets team is headed. They have to figure out what they are and how everybody meshes in, and I think that's some of the stuff we're seeing with Soto, maybe being a little less comfortable than maybe we thought he'd be at the beginning of the year.
Adam, you were on that team. Why did that team last year gel so well, and do you think that's something this team's going to have to do to have success this year?
Yeah, I was going to say, I honestly, it's a lot of the same people in the room. Really, and what it was the guys didn't quit on each other. They found a way to claw back into the thing, get to 500 and make a move on it. The team started to gel. We had, obviously, Iglesias came up. The fans came back to the ballpark. Everybody got more involved. It was one of those things where, a little bit of magic happened, and I think that's what you need in every season. Mets have all the same components for that to happen, and I actually like the fact that their record's sitting where it is, despite the fact that they haven't found that identity quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point because last year, after 50 games, they were 21 and 29. And, I think we feel good about this Mets team in a way we didn't about last year because they have played to, what are they, 30 and 20 now? I mean, it's a very nice record. They're much better than last year. So we feel, even though everything hasn't gone 100% phenomenal, they're still a really good team. They're one of the best teams in the majors. So, they can, once they do get that identity, Sal, I think they can even take off after that.
Adam, real quick, better bullpen last year or this year?
Well,
yeah,
I'm a little biased, but no, it's this year. It's this year. I mean, shoot, look at the numbers these guys are putting up. And there's more guys. Nunez has been up and down. He's going to be a factor. Sproat might affect it later in the year. They got some dogs. I mean, it sucks that Minter went down, but they're pretty good.
It was kind of a trick question. Come on, you were on it.
We got the answer we were looking for.
Exactly right. That was great.